Right, let's continue with our adventure and let's talk about the multidimensional arrays now. So, when we talked about the single dimension array, which is well, right here, what we talked or thought about was like a contiguous memory location, which with each element back to back. The way we think about multidimensional array is an array of array. So yeah, we think about it that way, an array of array. So essentially what happens is you are imagining that a certain that a array of a given size is replicated n number of times. What do I mean by that? So here we had P as an array of characters, and it had 10 elements, and let's assume there are 10 elements here. Now I somehow want to say that, hey, there is another array of exactly the same dimensions, exactly of the same data type, and I want to then access that using uh, a index notation also. So one of the ways we could argue that it can be done is, let's say, hey, why not do something like this? Why not have something like Q, which is another array. So have your first array here and the second array here, and both of them are like contiguous memory elements, or the elements are placed in contiguous memory. So P is right here and Q is here. One of the things that might happen in such a case is Q might actually not be next to P. There might be something else in between here. So for example, here if I had, let's say, int A, so there might be like an integer here. And let's say I'm forcing that I don't want that. I actually want like, uh, you know, 10 elements, one array, followed by 10 elements, another array, followed by 10 elements, another array. So I want, let's say, something that's, let's say, 30 bytes, and the first 10 bytes are P, the second 10 bytes are, well, another, P, so to speak, and then another 30 bytes that are another P, right? So how do we do that? And if what I explained sounds little bit confusing, just hang on and stay with me, it'll all become very clear. So then the idea here is that let's go ahead and first off, before we even go to, well, actually we have printf already, so let me then go ahead and do size of p here, and I'll simply print, I think it's unsigned long, let's just see, um, uh, size of P. Let's see if this makes sense. So compile, okay, something happened. It has to be LU, not UL. So let me go ahead and compile. Compile fine. Let me do a dot out. Well, the size is 10, which makes sense, right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to say that, let's see, that I need actually, well, okay, actually it's not to be done that way. So P is having size 10 and I want two of those. So essentially and let's slow our thinking down here. So now we see that there are two sets of square braces, one after the other. My claim is that this one is saying, hey, we want 10 elements, 10 elements, and this, the first square braces, the number within that is saying that we want two of whatever follows, so two of arrays with size 10. So this then is array 1, this is array 2. So when I say p0, let's say x being the index, so I'm referring to the x element within, so to speak, the 0th array. And if I do p1 brackets x, I'm talking about the x element in the 1th or first array, right? That is how this is to be read. So let me then go ahead and, well, few more things to be done here. Let me not assign anything. Let me just kind of, define the array, but not initialize it. So let me then go ahead and let's find out the size of P. So this time around, P is of the size 20, which makes sense. And the imagination we can have now is you're free to imagine it in two ways. One is the realistic one, the other one logically makes sense. So the logical one is this, that P of 0 is an array which has 10 elements, and then these are the indices of them, right? 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever, 9. So when we say P0, 0, we are talking about this element. When we say P0, 1, so something like this. So we are referring to, hey, the 0th array, within that the first element. That is how we are referring to. And then this is the logical one, the imagination. We can imagine 10 more elements, uh, like an array with 10 more elements, and that array has the name P of 1. And so if we did P of 1 comma 2, or not comma, but square brace is 1, square brace is 2, we are talking about, hey, go to the first, not the 0th, the first set of 10 bytes, and within that go find out the 0, first and second. Right. So we are referring to this one. This is the logical imagination. Now if I had 3 here, you can imagine another one. Fair? And what now we'll do further, and we are yet to talk about where this will use, so that's coming as well. But this was the logical way of thinking about it, visualizing it. In reality, what happens is we'll have total 20 elements, and the first 10 are they belong to P of 0. The next 10 elements, they belong to P of 1. So when we talk about P0, 2, for example, we are talking about 0, 1, 2 right here, this element. When we are talking about P1, 3, for example, we are talking about, well, not this, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So we are talking about this one and this one. So this is this, and this is this. Now the way to think about this is that, memory is continuous, it's contiguous. The bytes are placed one after the other. So to speak, your P of 1 starts 10 bytes from P, and P is essentially, P as an entire multidimensional array is starting here. So that's how we imagine it. Okay, so now where will we be using multidimensional array? Well, one more thing that I should mention is you can stretch this imagination further. So you can actually have P of 2, P of 3, P of 4. Now, how do you read this? You say, okay, I'm going to have an array of this size 4, 4 units. And depending on whether the array here is an int, a struct, a char, 4 units of the size of that data structure. If int is 4 bytes, then 4 units correspond to 16 bytes. So if you had something like this, this is essentially 16 bytes. And please do remember that anytime you see an array, the first question you ask is, what's the size of the element? Everything else follows, but first question you ask is, what's the size of the element? And based on the size of the element and the size of the array, you figure out how much space in the memory it's occupying. Okay, so 4 units worth of space for the array, the actual contiguous, and then you say, oh, there are 3 of those. Again, this is the logical imagination, let me put it this way. So you say, okay, there are 3 of those. Oh, and these 3, well, there is 2 set of those. So P0 is this, P1 is this, and then within that, if you go for P00, you're talking about this, and if you're talking about P12, you're talking about this guy. right? So hopefully this is making a sense, which is we then have two sets of two-dimensional, or well, two sets of two-dimensional array if we are doing something like this. Oh, sorry, 4. So we are saying, hey, I need an array with the size 4, and I need 3 such copies. And by the way, this entire set, I need 2 copies of those. So that's how you read it. Okay, so now where is this used? Well, our screen is the best example. So screen is full of pixels. So you can imagine that, well, 920 by 1080, is it? Yeah, so some resolution of that size. So we have 920 pixels here, and we have 1080 such rows. So you can then argue then that this can be 1920. Sorry, this was not 920, this was 1920, and this can be 1080. So that's how we then read this. And then, if instead of this you had something like a pixel which captures the pixel related data, then you need these many pixels, 920 of those. So one array is worth 920, and then you have 1080 of those. So the image data or the on-screen video buffer, for example, works this way. That data structure used there is that of a multidimensional array. Okay, so what I want to now quickly demonstrate is well, some black magic. So in terms of how we build the imagination, in terms of what is the location in the memory and things like that. So you can go ahead and start to print the addresses. And addresses of what? Addresses of, so I'll print 2 addresses, and let me actually put like a /n here. Right, and what I'll do, and also print a /n here. So I want to print well, the address of let me try this, and we learn by trial and error. So I'm going to take the 0th array of 10 elements and print or access the 0th element and then print the address of it. I'll just explain what I'm doing here. So right, so what's happening here is we argued in our logical picture that we have 10 elements, and this is the 0th element of the 0th array, and this is the 0th element of the first array. So this is represented as P10, and this is represented as P00. And what I now want to do is I'm saying, hey, give me the address of both of these. So this ampersand sign here is getting me the address of this element and this element. And using that, I'm going to essentially infer as to how they are positioned in the memory, how they are placed in the memory. Okay, so I'm just going to print the addresses. Let me compiles fine, run those. And the interesting part here now is this address and this address, if you compute the difference, they are separated by hex A, which is same as 10 in decimal. So if you start from this address, if you say that this is P00, well, 4A happens to be P10, the address for it. So using this, what I understand is first 10 bytes are reserved for the first array, the second 10 bytes are reserved for the second array, so to speak. And those two combined, in our, so we would place this right here, and we would place this right here. In our logical visualization, we would put them like so, but in reality, they are just bytes one after the other. Cool. So in our case of the screen data, the first array is right here, let's say, and the second line on the screen of the pixels is well next to it. So now hopefully you get a sense of if you wanted to mess with the pixel data somehow, if you've got a chance, all you have to know is the resolution. Again, the size of the array, the element size, and then you can mess around with each pixel. And we can maybe get to it when we talk about case studies, but hopefully this frees you um, or gives you some tools of imagination in terms of how to access and work with multidimensional array. Now we haven't, I just hinted at it, the three-dimensional array, but you can now run an experiment of this nature and try out what happens if instead we had like P of 3, of 4, of 5, some array of this nature. So print the addresses of various elements and try and build the intuition as to how it must be laid out in the memory. All right, so that was a quick recap of multidimensional array and how to go about thinking about them. And with this, I'll kind of now move on and explain to you what we need to imagine about structs and then about pointers. And then from there, we'll move on to the data structures. All right, I'll see you in the next one.